check. And we're live. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jordan P. Anderson. Thank you guys for watching this episode. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about 4 ways that you can raise your rates as a photographer. So let's kind of dive into it. We have 4 very simple goals. These are actionable. We can get into pricing strategy. I love talking about pricing strategy and like all the different psychology components there are to pricing strategy and how to, I don't know how else to put this, but in a good way, manipulate your customers, guide them along the customer journey so that they feel like they are being taken care of because you are taking care of them, and then also making it so that when you present your prices, they go, huh, this actually makes sense, and actually, I would, let's go with option 3 or option 2 or option 1. I like this one, I like that one. Add to cart, checkout, because that's what we want, right? We want our clients to book with us. We want our clients to say, yes, Jordan, I'm booking you for my wedding this season. Cool. All right, so we're on Instagram Live too. Oh my God, my Instagram is like totally tungsten. It's like, it's so, just yellow. Anyway. All right, so let's kind of switch over to my little PowerPoint slideshow. Make sure I'm in my little bubble square. All right, let me get this queued up. All right, so 4 ways to raise your rates as a wedding photographer. I'm aimed at the wedding photographers. I'm talking to you guys first and foremost. So the goal for today's episode is simple. I want to earn more money for you guys. Or the goal from watching this, the outcome should be that you should earn a little bit more money by raising your prices. You raise your rates, you make a little bit more money, do better projects, work with better clients, but it all starts with raising our rates. Today's lessons plan, we're going to cover offering options, number 1. Number 2, anchoring. Number 3, creating FOMO. And number 4, talking about your prices, which is, we'll talk about that one. You want to stick around for number 4. So let's first dive into lesson number 1, offering options. Okay? First, we have to talk about the problem with quotes. Some photographers do this, a lot of other industries do this type of situation where they will send a quote, let's talk about the problems with sending just like one price. When you send one price, there is no wiggle room back and forth for the client to say yes or no, or is there another option, or can you take this out? It's just kind of, here are the options, take it or leave it, and if they don't want it, then the client has to go through either some kind of negotiation process and say, like, can you do it for a better price, or can you take this out, or to then where the service provider has to go back, the photographer has to go back, rewrite the entire quote, and it's too much of a process. It's too much, you're kind of forcing the client into a corner that I don't think you want your clients to be in, that kind of corner. The problem with it as well is that on the service provider side, you as the wedding photographer, when you're writing a quote that's just going to send a single price to them, you have to nail it. You have to know exactly what their budget range is. You have to know exactly what they're looking for in terms of how long you need to be there, what kind of photos they're looking for, what kind of value that you should be offering. Do they want a photo album? Do they not want a photo album? Do they want digital prints? Do they want an engagement session added in? You have to get all of that perfectly aligned, and you have to completely nail it on that quote in order for them to say yes. The other way is, I don't think so much in kind of a wedding photographer scenario. I think of more like an emergency plumbing accident. The emergency plumber, like you call the plumber and they'll give you a quote on the phone of exactly like, help, something is drained or the basement is flooding, come fix it. They'll give you a quote, and which is just one price. The emergency plumber's not going to give you options 1, 2, and 3, and you choose which option you feel comfortable that fits within your budget. It's like, no, if you want the basement fixed, it's here it is, and the client is so desperate that they just say yes. Neither of these scenarios is very sustainable. I don't think that every quote that you send, it's the sales, your close rate is one number, but for your close rate to be solely centered around sending a one price proposal, like a singular quote, and nail it every time, not very sustainable. And then you don't always want to deal with, actually, you probably don't ever want to deal with clients that are desperate. If they're desperate, it's just more stress on them, more stress on you. The price can be higher, yes, but it's just not a sustainable scenario. You don't want to be the emergency wedding photographer. So let me kind of show you this, and I think I blocked out their name, hopefully. I just kind of pulled this from the internet. Take a good look at this, because this, we're still talking about options. These are not options. This is a mess. This I would call choice fatigue. This is option overload. This is who has the ability to make a decision on all of this. This is like the menu at Applebee's. So we don't want this. We are not aiming for this when I say offer options. There is such thing as offering too many options. Looking at you, Dave & Buster's, Applebee's menus. So I pulled some examples of some pricing sheets, pricing examples from other parts of the industry, other parts of the world. Here's Notion's pricing sheet. You go to the notionpay.com/pricing. We're going to be dealing with a lot of software. I want you guys to start looking at other software as services, SaaS products. Start looking at them. Start looking at how they offer their stuff, how they kind of form together their prices, their packages. There's a lot of good stuff to emulate, and that they have the psychology down. So this is a good example of offering options. You have your personal plan, personal pro, team. It's very 1, 2, 3. It's not overwhelming. You can kind of you can easily navigate it, and you can also start to do some comparison, which you want your clients to do a little bit. You want them to start. We'll talk about this in the next section, or third section. That you want them to kind of see back and forth. Okay, what am I getting? What am I not getting? Okay, I see my price is very clear, very understandable. Here's another one. Here's Webflow's pricing sheet. This is another great example of offering options. It's not overwhelming. It's in very, almost from a design standpoint too. Look how they've built it into columns. There's the basic column, the CMS column, the business column. Whereas you get something like this, and I even saw some when I was doing my research that they are just kind of all spread out, or there's not so much like options 1, 2, and 3. It's just kind of like in a square grid pattern where there's no hierarchy. There's no this option is better. It was just kind of it was similar to this, but just imagine take half this off the page. I can't get over this, how bad this is. So it's simple. Just offer when you're working with your clients, when your wedding clients are coming to you, offer them options. Don't just give them a single quote. Give them at least 3 to 4 options. I say 3 at the minimum. Don't give them 2 is a little. 2 is not enough. 2 feels like 50-50. The idea is you want to give them, something that they can eliminate immediately, and then they're kind of left with a 50-50 choice. It's very simple to operate that way. 4 also works the same way. You just saw Notion. You just saw Webflow. They offer 4. If you get to 5, anything above 4 starts to get into that choice overload, choice paradox. What do you call it? Choice fatigue, where you just I can't make this many decisions, or there are too many options. So just kind of keep it simple. Keep it between 3 to 4 options. Moving along. Lesson number 2, anchoring. Okay, anchoring. What are we talking about, Jordan? Let me just throw this out there. My prices typically are $85,000. But I can help you today for $12,000. Now, doesn't that sound like a good deal? And this is the kind of principle of anchoring. Now, I want you to try to get the number $85,000 out of your head and then compare it to $12,000. And it's really hard to. It's really hard to kind of get, once you say a big number, there's this kind of, I don't know what it is. I don't know what psychological aspect it is of our brains, but we put a lot of emphasis. We put a majority of the emphasis on the first piece of data that we're given. So when you're talking with your clients and you're presenting your prices, or you're having the price conversation, or you're trying to navigate what their budget is, do they have a high budget? Do they have a low budget? And then they start to ask well, what do you charge? What do you typically charge? They kind of prompt you with that question. you want to say something along the lines of like, I typically charge this much, and you kind of throw out a big number. And what this does, it kind of pushes the conversation higher. And this is also too when you're presenting your packages, when you're showing the options to them, you want to start with option 3. It's the temptation is kind of go left to right on the page, option 1, option 2, option 3. But the problem is when you're starting with option 1, here's a better example. So if you take a look at this, package 1, again, I just ripped this off. Just, here's another example of a wedding package. So if you started with package A at $1,500, now the first piece of data that's in the client's mind is $1,500. So then when you try to go up to package B and talk about that, hey, it's $2,500, and then you go up to package C and talk about that, and it's $3,500, they still can't get that $1,500 out of their head, or now they're thinking, wow, $1,500 or $3,500 is package C. That's more than double what package A is. Rather, had you started right to left, or even sometimes I've seen it where you flip it, where you put the biggest option first on the left-hand column, and start with package C and say, let's start with package C. Let me kind of give you the whole rundown of our largest package. That's $3,500. So you start with that big number, $3,500, and then as you work your way down to package A at $1,500, instead of you saying, wow, this is double the price, you say, wow, what a great deal. This is $2,000 off the biggest package. Package A seems like a pretty good deal. It's all about that framing. You don't want to pay double something, but you would rather pay $2,000 off of something. It's all about the framing. It's all about what first thing you say, what's the first piece of data that you give to your clients. So don't start. It's almost like, you have to think like your full-time job when you were telling them your salary. You didn't start with your lowest number. You didn't start with a number that you actually wanted. I want to make $50,000. No, you started with like, I want to make $70,000, and they go, well, $70,000. How about can we do $40,000? You go, let's do $50,000. Let it be that kind of negotiation. It's like the same principle. It's like same principle, psychological principle of anchoring, that you have to give them the largest number first, and that's going to push the conversation higher. That's going to push the pricing conversation higher and higher, so that you could also say like, I charge $10,000 for a wedding, and they go, wow, that's a lot of money. It's a little bit too much. $10,000 is a lot of money, and what that does is now you're kind of be able to gauge what their budget is. You can gauge their reaction, so that when it comes down to a $6,500 wedding or a $5,000 wedding, okay, maybe it's not your typical price, but compared to $10,000. Now it seems like a pretty good deal. You just took 50% off your price. It's still profitable for you, a $5,000 wedding, but in the client's mind, now it starts to feel a little bit more like a great deal. It starts to feel like, I'm winning them over. I'm a good customer. I'm good, I'm a good negotiator. Like you want them to feel like they won in this negotiation too. Like it shouldn't, as a wedding photographer, it shouldn't all be about when you're raising your prices and trying to set these contexts, have the right conversation with your clients. It shouldn't be all about how can I win, how can I get the best deal, how can I make the most money, be the most profitable as a wedding photographer. It should also be about, you need to give them a win. You need to let them feel like they're winning as a client, because if they don't feel like they're winning, they feel like they got ripped off or they lost, then whether or not they can afford it, whether or not they feel like it's a good deal, it's all about perception. So you want them to perceive, because perception is reality, folks. You want them to perceive like they got a good deal, and maybe they did, but it's all about, this is what I mean, like you're building the context around this conversation. You're trying to frame the conversation so that they feel like they're getting a great deal, they get a win, you get a win. Both of you at the same time go, thank you very much, no thank you. That's the moment you want to have with your clients. Now let's move on to option number 3. Lesson number 3. Let's move on to lesson number 3, creating FOMO. All right, let me also check the live on Instagram, guys, if you have any questions. Oh, let me check YouTube as well. We'll take a little break here. If you have any pricing questions on YouTube, guys. Oh, also leave a like. Thank you, guys. I'm jumping right into this. Let's take a little halftime break. yeah, we'll take a little halftime break before we get to option 3. I wrote this email today, and I was thinking about it, and I am so tempted. So I've been trying to figure out this YouTube live strategy because, as you can see, if you're following me on YouTube, that I am doing these live streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The data out there is not really clear. I can't really find, does doing live streams hurt your channel? Does post, because what I do is I take the live stream, edit these down, and go back and post the video. And I'm still trying to figure out, do I just back off live streaming on YouTube, go live stream somewhere else, and at the same time record that, and then take that live stream recording and bring it to YouTube and just upload it natively as just a regular piece of content? And it's tempting, but I think I got to stay the course for a little bit longer. That's kind of what I concluded. I always want to wiggle out. I want to wiggle out of these marketing strategies. I do a marketing strategy, I test it out a little bit, and then I go, this is uncomfortable. Oh, this is boring. Then I just like, no, Jordan, you have to stay consistent. You have to plow through this. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know if you guys have any insight, if you guys have any experience, or I even like reached out on Reddit to a couple YouTube groups that asked, like, does live streaming hurt your channel? Or if I'm live streaming this right now that you're watching, and then I upload this same video a couple weeks later, is that double content that actually hurts my ranking or confuses the algorithm? Or should I just make the live stream public or make it private? There's no answer. No answer just yet. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on now to... Oh, yeah, here we go. Lesson number 3 is creating FOMO. Let's create a little bit of the feelings of missing out, in case you forgot what FOMO means. We are creating scarcity in the buyer's mind. That's what we want to do with creating FOMO. We want to really show them, we're presenting our options, we're showing them the price, we're showing them what they're going to get, but we also, at the same time, explicitly or implicitly, we want to show them what they don't get. And software packages do this all the time. It's the check mark, it's their grayed out, it's the strike through, it's the, option 1 is kind of light. There's not really much in there. It's kind of loosely packed in a couple features, but then as you get to option 3, it's just jam-packed with a ton of features, a ton of stuff in there, and it makes you feel like you're getting the best deal possible because this is like the full package, the full-on documentary, the entire wedding magazine spread option, like whatever you want to call it. So I'll use my own example. So on the Perfect Wedding Package, I've done exactly this. The 2 pricing options that I have, $27 and $97. The $97 package I'm showing has everything. All the check marks. You get the video lesson. You get the pricing workshop, the website audit. You get direct access to me. You get the PDF. You get the template, all that stuff. Boom, 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 everything. It's fat, it's packed. I'm showing you everything you get. And then you go over to the other option, and it's meek. It's small. It's a little number. Everything is kind of grayed out. I've talked about this a while back. You want to stick the knife in the client, and you want to like twist a little bit and like make them feel the pain of what they're missing out. If they don't go with this option, you don't get that special feature. And don't be soft on them. They might say, well, we really like option 2 or we like option 3, but we can't afford option 3. Can we take this piece from option 3 and move it over to option 2? Don't get soft on them. Don't give. You want them to feel that, gosh, I wish I had this. I wish this was, all right, you know what? Okay, you're right. The bigger option is worth it. It's actually, this is what we want to do. Let's go with the larger option. Here's another example. This is from, I was looking at Restream today, Restream.io. And this is what their pricing sheet looks like. They have a couple more options, but there's this big gap right here of all the features and options that you do not get if you have the free plan or if you have the standard plan. But if you get the premium and the business, you get everything. You get all the stuff, everything jam-packed. But if it's just the free version, you only get boop, boop. You just get 2 check marks. You don't get everything, every single thing stacked in there. So you can go even more. So they kind of they chose from a design standpoint to go with just the white empty space, I chose the design standpoint of just showing you what you were going to get, but it's grayed out. It's not available. It hasn't been unlocked. Video games do this as well. It's a very similar design choice. So what you want to kind of create, I think I spelled that right. You want to create this kind of Goldilock phenomenon where it's not, it's not, okay, we don't want to go with option 1. Option 1 is too cheap. There's not enough features in it. But option 3 is huge, and damn, we don't need that much. Like, we don't need a whole freaking, like, full-length 90-minute documentary about our wedding. We just need a couple minutes, or we just need a couple photos. We don't need 2,000 photos. We just need 500 photos. But we don't do option 1 that only has like 50 photos. So we want to, you have this Goldilocks effects where the client kind of settles on option 2. They feel like it's the best value, it's the best price, and they also get the best amount of features. It's kind of the best of both worlds. That's the kind of phenomenon you want to create with your packages. Now let's move on. We got to move on now to option. Well, I keep saying options. We have to move on now to lesson number 4. Lesson 4: say a price before you send it. Let me show it to you. Say a price before you send it. This is the toughest thing photographers, creatives, non-business people, like graphic designers, filmmakers. This is the toughest thing that you will probably ever face in your pricing career, or your journey in the pricing, your pricing journey. This is the toughest thing you're going to face in your pricing journey. Putting together the options is fine. It kind of makes sense. Practicing the conversations, practicing the pauses, practicing what you're going to say in front of the client, that can be learned. This idea that you have to, in conversation, say a price before you send it is, I don't know what it's that fear of rejection. I think that's what it comes from. It's that you don't want to be rejected. We're insecure. We're soft little mushy creatives, and we don't want to get our feelings hurt, or we don't want to get that rejection before the proposal has even been sent. And it's very counterintuitive, or the kind of lazy thing, or what feels appropriate, or what feels like business and normal standards, is to just, okay, blah, 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 let's have a conversation, let's figure out what you want to do in your project, let's get the details, the dates. Okay, great, I'll send you a proposal, I'll email you a proposal, and then you call me back, or you tell me what you think, or just reply in the email if you want to go forward. And there's no conversation about price, there's no like prepping them, you don't really know their budget, maybe you do know their budget, but you haven't really totally got it down or got it nailed down. And it feels like business standards. It feels like you just kind of take it and you just kind of throw it over the fence, and then you just like close your eyes and close your ears and just hope nobody says no. And that's not the best way to go about things. Because you're just you're throwing it blind. The client here, because here's what's going to happen on the client's end. We don't really think about our client's perspective. They're going to get the email. I took like one business class in school, and we had to build a proposal. And, we always talk about the cliche thing, like the CEO is just going to take the big 30-page proposal and just flip to the back, look at the prices, and then close it and go, no, we can't afford that, and not read anything else in the proposal. So that's a cliche a little bit, but it does happen. So from the client's perspective, a bride and groom are getting married. They're going to get the email, they're going to open up the PDF, and they're going to look through the options, and they're either going to go, or just going to sigh and just go, we can't afford this, or this, or like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Or if you saw like the proposal that was up that I showed previously that was just a mess, they might be just totally confused, or they don't really know what that means, or you wrote in the proposal digital stills instead of digital images, or you put the word JPEG on there and they don't know what that means. And it just, a confused client, a confused customer always says no. You have to remember that. A confused client always says no. So why put that at risk? Why just throw our proposal over the fence, throw our pricing sheet over the fence, send it in a blind email, hope someone says yes, and then expect our clients to say, yeah, let's do this. Rather, in conversation, before a proposal is ever sent, before you even start working on the proposal, before you even start opening up whatever InDesign, Word document, whatever freaking software that you use, before any of that is started, you have to say a price. You have to float out a number to the client, and it's tough. It really is. You have to kind of test out a number in conversation. It doesn't have to be the number that you're going to go with. It doesn't have to be your actual prices. It could be a version of it. Remember that every client is different. Not every package should be the same. You should not be copy-pasting your packages for every single client out in the world. So it should be a little bit, the conversation starts to wrap up, kind of comes to a close. You've got an idea of dates, of style, taste. You've got an idea of maybe they talked about budget. Maybe they talked about some more logistics. How many people are going to be at the wedding? Where's the wedding? And you say this. All right, here it is. Well, take a couple screenshots here. You go, okay, great. Listen, I'm going to start to put together a few options. Or you can say, like, I'm going to go, I'm going to go away now. Or I'm going to go to my office now. Or hey, after this phone call, I'm going to start working on the proposal. Or I'm going to start I always say, like, I'm going to start putting together a couple options. Based on what you said, this seems like a $10,000 wedding shoot. And pause. Silence. Don't ask questions. Don't ask that. There's a natural question in here that you want to ask. Based on what you said, this seems like a $10,000 wedding shoot, right? What do you think? There's that natural question that you want to ask, like, or am I wrong? Like, or like whatever it is you want, like, just shut your damn mouth. Just say the number, say the price, and shut the hell up. This is not your number. This is not the final quote. This is not the, this is I'm betting 100% on red. Like, this is not that. You need to just float out a number to them, because I want you to, as you're shutting the fuck up, to put it nicely, I want you to, if you're in conversation with them, if you're in person with them, if you can see their face, I want you to look at their face. I want you to observe their behavior. I want you to listen to what they say. I want you to read their body language. I want you to hear the tone in their voice, the pause, the slowness, the look over at their wife, the look back at you. All of that. Soak it all in. You have to go full, like, slow. Everything is in slow motion after you say that price. And you're trying to gauge every single thing, because everything, the next 30 seconds is going to tell you every single thing you need to know about your client, their budget, and how willing they are to work with you. So you float out that number. This seems like a $10,000 wedding shoot. And they could go, okay, that seems fine. Yes. They look at their wife, their fiance. Yeah, that should work. Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, $10,000 sounds good. Or they go, $10,000. Okay, you said $10,000, or they're confused, or they pretend like they didn't hear you right. Okay, that's another reaction. Okay, wow. We didn't think you were gonna say $10,000. Can you go a little bit lower? And then, that's the jumping off point of that conversation. You need to gauge the reaction. If you're starting to talk, if you're starting to blah, 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 or, maybe it's not $10,000, maybe it's $8,000, or like, this seems like a $10,000 wedding shoot. And like, well, but that's not, but we don't have to do that. I can tell that you guys, you probably need, are you guys looking for a discount as well? Or maybe, it's, you just start talking, you just start babbling for no reason. And then you just hear if you we're all in the stock market right now. So it's like, if you just hear, like, if you were a stock price, you just hear yourself just just going down further and further. It's like 10,000, 9,000, 8,000, 7,000, then you're like, okay, what, actually 5,000, let's do 5,000. So quiet, silence, gauge the reaction. And then when everything is done so once you hear that reaction, you're going to distill that information. So if you said $10,000 and they seemed okay with it, then maybe that's your option 2. Maybe that's your middle option, or maybe a version, maybe $12,000 is option 3, something in the ballpark of $10,000. If they are totally opposed to that number, if that number scares the hell out of them, then they may not be the right client for you. But that also might mean that you need to drastically lower your proposal down to a budget that they will think works, that kind of fits within, that's still profitable for you, but also fits within their budget range. Once you have all that, that's when you send the proposal. So that, and what I'm trying to get at with this, when I say like say a price before you send the price, you don't want any surprises. You don't want surprises and confusion when they are reading the most critical thing that they'll ever read in your client relationship: the proposal, the price, how much you're going to charge. Because if you fuck that up, then you might not be able to recover from that. The project might not be as profitable as you'd like it to be. You might start to begrudge them because you agreed to a low price that you didn't like, or they might start to begrudge you because they agreed to a higher price that they didn't like. It's so critical. So it just has to be carried and carefully managed with care. That last part. Okay, so let's review. Let's recap everything. Let me go back to the very beginning. Okay, so option. Let's review. Let's have a little review time. So offering options, that was number 1. Let's give them at least 3 to 4 options. No more than 4. Not 2. Not 1 option. Not a quote. Send them 3 to 4 options. Do not make your wedding package look like this. Jesus Christ. Do not make it look like this. Make it look something more like this. Look at software. Go out to whatever your favorite software is out there. The iPhone, Notion, Webflow, all these softwares out there. Yeah, I think even Adobe. Mimic what they're doing. Look at how they set up their prices. Look up pricing columns, pricing cards. Make it look like this. Don't make it look like a goddamn Applebee's menu. Now let's move on. We talked about lesson number 2 was anchoring. Anchoring is saying a large number, $85,000, and then say the smaller number, $12,000. Now it starts to sound like a better deal, because we cannot get rid of that first piece of data in our head. Even if I told you, don't think about a white polar bear, now you can't stop thinking about it. Okay, that's okay. Moving on. Oh, in conversation, start with a big number, and then go down smaller and smaller, lower and lower packages. And then lesson number 3, show them what they don't get. Create some FOMO. Here's my perfect wedding package. I'm showing you what you don't get. You don't get the one-on-one pricing workshop. You don't get a website audit, and you don't get direct access to me if you only buy the template. You have to go buy the full package in order to get everything, all the value stacked in. And then finally, say a price before you send it. Although it is the toughest thing that a photographer can do, you have to start saying it out loud in some variation, some form. I'm going to go start putting together a few options based on what you said. This seems like a blank blank price number wedding shoot. And then just be quiet. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. My name is Jordan P. Anderson. I will now answer any questions if there are questions out there, and hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope this is a great start to your Monday. Hope everyone is having a great time. Oh, I'm even on Instagram Live, too. Hey, everyone. Yeah. Let's wrap it up here, folks. Let me check the questions. So far, so good. Oh. Checking questions. Wow, we have 5 viewers. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome. So nice to have you guys. If you are watching this and damn, look at that. I'll keep playing with time and days. I want to. My best times. It told me that YouTube is at noon, and I'm doing it at 9 p.m. So go figure. All right, let me kind of wrap it up. Let me do my little outro, and then I'll answer any questions or have any chat conversations if anyone wants to have a little post-lesson pricing chat questions. So I hope that answers a lot of questions for you guys on how to raise your rates. You can raise your rates I think it's totally possible. These 4 quick steps are going to help you raise your rates and therefore make you more money and keep the part-time job at bay so that you can focus on becoming a better wedding photographer and living the dream. That's the plan. Yeah. Okay, so be sure to like, subscribe, and do all the fun stuff that YouTube has to offer. I will see you guys on Wednesday at 9 p.m. My name is Jordan P. Anderson, and I will see you on the next one. Cool. All right, and we're out. Sweet. Sweet. Let me get Instagram Live over here. If we have any questions in the chat, I will take questions now. Okay. Taking some questions. I'm just going to hang out here for a second. Damn, we got 4 concurrent viewers. Wow, we're so special. It's doubling. It keeps doubling every time. All the playbacks, the streams, everything keeps doubling every single time. So like I said in the midway through the stream, if you're listening, I am thinking about, or was tempted. What am I doing now? I'm going to end Instagram Live here. So I'm tempted. I'm tempted to go and do more like, oh, there we go. I'm tempted to do more Facebook stuff or like, so my conflict is I'm on YouTube and I am live streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm posting regular videos on Tuesday and Thursday and sometimes on Friday. So it becomes like an overload, I feel like. I feel like it becomes too many videos or like I'm in the stream too much or I don't know if that's even possible to me. It's the attitude I take too with content is that it's not really for me to judge what is good content. It's not really for me to judge what I think looks good or what I think makes sense, or it's really like, am I getting feedback from the audience? Am I getting feedback from users that are watching this stuff that go, okay, yeah, this is working, or like, I do like this, or send more of this, or I'm going to like this, I'm going to comment this. That's kind of how I judge it. So when it feels shaky or when it's just, I think I'm still in the early stages, so that's what's bugging me a little bit. But the idea that came to my head, or like what I was thinking about possibly doing, is Facebook Live in a more concentrated Facebook group, like for wedding photographers, which is who I'm trying to target. Take that, and right now I'm recording this, so I play it through OBS, record it to my computer, live stream it on Facebook, take that recording, edit it in Premiere like I would normally do, and then upload it like a normal video, and maybe increase the upload rate, maybe upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe just keep uploading Tuesday, Thursday, but still consistently. So I don't know. I feel like if I'm live streaming on YouTube, I might be just live streaming for all of YouTube or only a couple people that are in my subscriber feed, or like the few percentage of subscribers that I have. Like, I know the 7,000 subscribers that I have, it's not going to be all 7,000 of them. It's going to be like 12 of them or 15 of them. It's like it's such a weird percentage how it works. So the idea is maybe, I don't know, maybe it becomes, I could give it a shot, but then I'm also backing away from YouTube live and not being live, and will that hurt? Or it's like, do I go on a 2-week hiatus? I'm still uploading to YouTube, still uploading podcasts. I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. So, yeah, that's going to end tonight, folks. So I don't know. If anyone has any insight, let me know. But we're still just figuring it out. All right, thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to end the stream now, and we'll see you guys on